What is going on, everyone? It's a football Friday. I love it. I love football Fridays. You have that anticipation. You have that gut feeling where you know football is so close and it will be here Sunday afternoon. You just got to grind through a couple more days here. Let's look at this Eagles-Vikings game just a little bit closer. This is the test for the Birds. There's no denying it. We can mock the Vikings all we want. The skull chants, right, that they did here in Philadelphia. Us kicking their ass in the NFC Championship game. We can mock them all we want. Kirk Cousins stinks. But we're going into their territory. They're not a horrendous football team. They have a great running game. And I will get into our run D, of course. But we got to take this seriously. This is a good test for the Eagles. This will tell us as a fan base what this team is made of. Green Bay was a test on the road, and we took care of business. What are the Eagles really made of? Now, I think that they have the ability to play really well on the road, to beat teams that are good on the road. They're not afraid of that moment. I've seen it enough. I've seen it with this team and this coaching staff and just the culture that has been built over the last couple of years. We're not afraid of the road. We can handle an uncomfortable environment. And that's not easy to do in this league. But this is going to be a little bit of a test because this is the first time where we've seen a serious running back. Yeah, Le'Veon Bell is a big name, but in that offense with the Jets, he's no real threat. Dalvin Cook is a real threat. Let's just look at what he has done this year so far. He ran 111 yards against Atlanta, 154 against Green Bay, 110 against Oakland, 132 against the Giants, only 35 against the Chicago Bears, which compares to how the Eagles can stop the run D. And we can get to the passing side in a moment here because that is completely different. But Dalvin Cook is a weapon. And he can make you pay. If you make one mistake, he's making you pay, and he's taking it to the house, and he's running it for 80 yards. We haven't seen a running back to this degree yet, and it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. By the way, before we get into this deeper, I can save you $20 when you want to go to a game. Use the promo code BROADS at SeatGeek's checkout page, and you get $20 off of your total purchase when buying tickets. So get yourself to a game today. It's free $20. Let's get back to business here. The Vikings have some sort of issue internally right now. Kirk Cousins, Diggs, and Thielen. They're not on the same page. Kirk Cousins has been struggling, but they're coming off of a win against the Giants. And I know it's just the Giants, but their offense had more rhythm, their offense had more structure, and they weren't butting heads as much. It's something for them to at least build off of. We all know the struggles at the cornerback position for the Eagles so far this season. You even have Doug Pederson calling out Sidney Jones. He called out Sidney Jones. Because Sidney Jones continues to have these hamstring injuries, and every time he gets beat, whoa, something's not right. Something's not right. Doug Pederson looked at the media and said, he called him out. He's going to have to find a way to play through this. Of course, I'm paraphrasing. It's not like Doug Pederson went up there and said, Sidney Jones stinks, although he should have said that. I would have respected that. But he used he used words to not really throw him under the bus. But if you use context, Doug Pederson essentially was saying that Sidney Jones needs to find a way to stay on the field and stop pulling all these hamstrings and stop getting beat. Because when you get beat, that's when your hamstring's getting pulled, with air quotes. Oh, don't even get me going on Sidney Jones. I can't stand him. I can't stand him. We have a powerful defense stopping the run. Arguably the best in the league. We need to make this team one-dimensional because their passing game isn't their strongest suit. We make them one-dimensional, we got to live and die by coming up with a game plan to stop these weapons. Now, Diggs is a beast, Thielen is a beast. But are they beast when there's a feud involved? When there's pressure involved? This isn't the Giants defense they're going up against. Now, Jim Schwartz, hate him or love him, has been switching up things every single week and dialing up different blitzes and giving different looks. He hasn't done that throughout his career. He was very stubborn, and he just did his way or no way. Now, understanding the holes we have back there and knowing we need to dial up different things, he's been throwing all different types of stuff at quarterbacks and linemen and whatnot, and it's been effective. I think Jim Schwartz is going to do that again. Keep in mind, we also have Sendejo, who spent so many years in Minnesota. Maybe we have a little bit of inside scoop, if you will, on the playbook, on certain looks they do, on some defensive stuff that they do, because he's been there for so long. And Zimmer actually came out and talked about that, saying he understands Sendejo has been in the Vikings organization for a while. So I wonder if I'm a coach, do I give certain looks so Sendejo's sitting back there or telling people, well, this is the play it's going to be, but it's something completely different and it gets disguised. I would assume that happens all the time in the NFL. I mean, I would do that, wouldn't you? That makes total sense. You disguise it a little bit, and it's a different play, but it looks like a play that they ran a bunch of times when Sendejo was there, and bang, the play works. I don't know. It seems like simple logic to me. Make them one-dimensional. Rasul Douglas has been doing a hell of a job. Rodney McLeod has been a beast. Rodney McLeod has been playing with some energy, playing with some swag, some confidence. He's been running all around the field. He's been unbelievable. And we know what Malcolm Jenkins brings to the table. What are we doing at corner on the other side? Well, you know, you're going to have to see the Sidney Jones hamstring issue. Or Craig James, you know. That's how it's going to be. But make them one-dimensional. Because here's the thing. You can't allow that run game to go. You can't allow Dalvin Cook to go. Because if you stop that consistently, you know the pass is coming, the play action won't be as effective, and we can at least find a way from there to try and stop these weapons. You also have to you also are counting on Kirk Cousins to actually make these throws. He's not the greatest quarterback in the world, if we all know. Now, I will say this. Kirk Cousins, to me, gets so much more hate than he deserves based off of how much money he signed for. He's not a good quarterback, but he's not what we played last week. Like, can he make certain passes here and there? Yeah, like, if you're going to give him wide open plays at times, he's going to make them. He's not the worst quarterback in the league. He's nowhere near good, but, I mean, he can hurt you at times if things are open. I'll say that. I mean, to an extent, you do need to realize that this coaching staff earlier in the year ran so much because they didn't even trust the guy to throw the ball whatsoever. So that's telling you something. Once again, he's not good, but he's not what you played last week. Like, there are times where he can make that throw. He doesn't make those throws enough. He's not consistent with it. But if it's available, he will make it at times. So we got to make sure we limit those because it can be completed. It can happen because they do have Thielen and Diggs. Someone who's been underwhelming in their offense has been Rudolph. Like, where has Rudolph been all season long? I drafted him on fantasy. You know, I thought he'd have a bigger role in this offense. I guess not, really. And they do run the ball an insane amount of times. But Brandon Graham's going to have to be a beast once again. Derek Barnett, let's keep those penalties to a minimum here. He continues to find ways to get these 15-yard penalties. He's got to play smart. He's got to keep his head on his shoulders. He's got to be a player that's an X factor, but he's got to play smart. Will Fletch be able to get to the quarterback? Are we going to be able to get pressure and move Kirk Cousins and make him feel uncomfortable? Because let's be real, if he's uncomfortable, those throws that I was talking about that he makes, that's not when he makes those. He doesn't make those when he's uncomfortable. So will we get pressure on the quarterback? This Viking squad is good. Like, they're a good team. It's not the Jets. I wouldn't, like, I'm looking at who we played so far, right? And Washington first, I mean, how much stock can you really put into them? The Jets, you really can't put anything into them. But are they like a Lions? Could you argue the Lions are better than the Vikings? Are they like the Lions in that type of degree when you talk about skill level? I don't think they're as good as Green Bay, and we went on the road and beat Green Bay. It comes down to not just what we're doing defensively, but sneaking over to the offensive side of the ball, being able to create some sort of offense. And we got to stay balanced. Now, this defense can play. Their defense are legit. They're hard-hitting. They're a serious squad back there. We haven't been able to create offense, passing-wise. And it's not Carson Wentz's fault. We do not have a playmaker. Without Deshaun Jackson, we are stuck with this no playmaker thing once again. Here's the Eagles' offense the last 3 weeks, and these are the playmakers, right? So Ertz has 186 yards. Miles Sanders, 122. 90 yards for Alshon Jeffrey. Keep in mind, this is 3 weeks worth of football we're talking about. These should be game statistics. Matt Collins, 75. Nelson Aguilar, 70, who's been in a monstrous slump and looks horrendous. 28, Jordan Howard. 27, Goddard. And 10, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. And I've already put my opinion out on J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. I'm truly disappointed in what he has brought to the table so far this season. We are talking about a second-round draft pick. A second-round draft pick who can't get his ass on the field to play right now. Is it his fault? Is it Howie's fault for drafting him? Is he just not good enough? Obviously, he has time to develop, but I'm sorry, he's got to be on the field, and I'm not getting in this conversation again because every time I bring it up, I get fired up and pissed off about it. But those are our last 3 weeks. These guys are not getting open. They're not getting downfield. Is it by design? Is it play designing by Doug Pederson to not give these guys specific routes? While I can say, sure, that might be an issue, these players aren't players that can really thrive downfield. Alshon Jeffrey's a good wide receiver. He's not this deep, big threat. He's not. He's not this deep threat that creates all these holes. And he's playing on a calf injury where realistically it looks like he's at 70%. So factor that in. We don't have playmakers. So Doug Pederson is going to have to be creative. I talked about Jim Schwartz being creative, giving different looks over the last few weeks. Understanding our situation. Well, Doug's going to have to do the same thing. He's going to have to be creative. We were fine against Green Bay, right? We were fine against Green Bay. Pounding the rock. Balanced offense. We didn't have the deep threat then. Well, we're going to have to do something like that again. Now, Corey Clement, he didn't practice. And we can't go with 2 running backs. So at the time of this recording, we have 2 running backs that are in play here with Sanders and Howard. We might have to call up Scott from the practice squad because we need someone who can return as well. Darren Sproles is out. Keep that in mind. So if Corey Clement can't go and Darren Sproles can't go, we might have to call up Scott from the practice squad and he might be your returner because you need 3 backs back there. You can't rock and roll with 2 backs. I'm curious to see if Doug Pederson goes with run. You can't get too pass happy. We've done that before. But understanding that Jordan Howard is potentially our lead back now, I want to see him take over. And I want to see that splash of Miles Sanders. Because you throw Miles Sanders in, he has the ability to catch the ball for a 30-yard wheel route. And he has the ability to make that play that these wide receivers can't make. Miles Sanders can actually do that out of the backfield. We've seen it. He's made those chunk plays that we needed, actually, believe it or not. Doug has to be balanced. This offensive line is going to have a big day. The offensive line, to me, so far this season, they've had a good game, and then they kind of took a little step back. And early in the season, it's always tough, and I feel like every year they always come out to a slow start. Is that just the nature of the beast? Because you don't really see real competition in preseason and practice, and then bang, you're thrown right into it. These guys are veterans, and they're getting a little older, but it's like they have a great game, and then, against the Jets, or against the next of the Lions. I don't know. Not that the Jets were any competition. I didn't think they had a bad game against the Jets to like an insane degree. But whatever, I'm moving forward here. They need to be special against the Vikings. They need to keep Carson Wentz up. They need to keep him upright. We got to make sure Wentz has the time to make the plays because I mentioned the wide receivers don't get open and they don't get much separation. Yeah, he's going to need time in the pocket. He's going to need time in the pocket. And he's going to have to keep... Let's go here. Last week, there were times he holds on to the ball because he tries to make that play. If the play's not there, I don't want to see a slow-mo of him getting hit and his knee buckling back in a weird position. I can't see that. That scares me. I can't see that again. He needs to know at times the play's not there. It's not there. And it's fine. If it's not there, it's not there. You throw it away. You live another day. Let's not try and hold on to it, force it, and try and hold on. Bang, gets hit, ankle, knee, all in weird slow-mo. Scare me. I just can't have it happen. I'm excited for this game. See, last week you played the Jets and it sucked and there was no juice involved. You didn't really get any excitement out of it. I didn't get any excitement out of that Jets game. But this game, it has a little bit of juice surrounding it. There's always going to be this hatred between the Vikings and the Eagles now because of everything that happened. Their stupid skull chant coming to Philadelphia, getting abused and obliterated out on the football field, us walking to the Super Bowl. There's always going to be that hatred, right? That's inevitable. And I like that. That's the beauty of sports. Like, I respect it. It's fun. Just don't pass the line. Of course, we do that as fans. Not saying Philadelphia fans, saying sports fans. Sports fans always somehow cross the line. There's a way to make it hatred and beautiful hatred in sports because that is the beauty of sports, rivalries and hatred. But, do it with the respect as well. And I think that this is one of those rivalries, and it should be fun. I'm assuming a lot of Eagles fans are going to go to Minnesota, maybe reminisce on winning the Super Bowl there, and being great fans as well because we travel so well, and hopefully we can take over that stadium as much as we can. But there's some sort of energy surrounding this football game. 1 o'clock, I'm anticipating the game. I want to watch. I want to have that gut feeling where I'm nervous. I didn't have that last week. I want to have nerves. I want to have that. That's what I love about football. Freaking out, pacing back and forth while the play is about to be snapped. There's a timeout called. It's a big moment. I'm pacing. I can't sit down. I'm walking. I got to go pet the dog. I got to go get some water. I can't wait. Like, the commercial is taking too long. I want that feeling, and I think I will get that this Sunday. And it's going to be a tough game. It's not going to be an easy cakewalk. It shouldn't be, at least, and I think it's going to be very competitive, and it's going to be super close to let the best team win. We can do that if we dial up the best game plan. The problem for me is we're going to have to find a way to stop their passing game. It's not like their passing game is elite in this league, but it comes down to our DBs, and our passing game defensively is nowhere near elite and at the bottom of the league. So something has to give. And it also comes down to, can we stop Dalvin Cook? This defensive front, I'm sure, all week long has been sitting there in film, preparing, watching the Vikings offense over and over and over again, and is getting drilled in their head. Do not let this guy go. Do not let this guy free. Stop him and we win the game. Stop him, make them one-dimensional, put the ball in Kirk Cousins' hands, and we will win the game. I mean, I'm sure it has been drilled into their head for the last 6 days now, to the point where that has to be stopped. Dalvin Cook has to be stopped. But those are my worries. Those are my concerns. That's how the Vikings are going to win the game. And then you flip it over to the other side, and we just have to make sure we stay balanced offensively. We put them on their heels. If the run game is effective for us, if Jordan Howard's able to give us a couple yards on first down, and we stay away from the second and longs, 2nd and 12, 2nd and 14, 3rd and long, 3rd and 8, these passing plays, if we stay away from those and we get 2nd and 4, 2nd and 5, we have more manageable downs here, then we can be in position. And if the run game's effective for us, we can open up the play action, and that can open up these offensive plays where we can at least have a better chance without having a deep threat, if you will. We'll have a better chance to move the ball with the passing play through play action. So we'll see how it all plays out, but I'm excited. It's a football Friday here. My nerves are getting going in a good way, And yeah, I can't wait for some Eagles football on Sunday, 1 o'clock. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I will be back soon.